Is it on? Oh. Hello everyone. I'm a former student of Thomas-sim, and I'm here to fill in about some of the weights of thoughts or standards of thoughts that people can use to think about certain things in English. And before I get started, if you want a better understandings about this writing or just because of the terminology that I use or just the language, so Thomas-sim filmed this in Korean last Tuesday, I believe. So I recommend watching that if you have trouble understanding what I'm saying, or you would like a better understanding about this. So yeah, so I will get started. I will start from 1-1 to and then until 2-4. So let's get started. So 1-1 is 상식의 삼관과 좌표의 쓰임새. So what I'm gonna mainly talk about is what I understand from this writing that my teacher organized. So yeah, as I said before, if you have trouble understanding what I'm saying, or if you just want better understanding, I recommend watch previous video. Yeah. So it says time, space, and humans are some of the three 상관s of common sense. And then what it's trying to say is that you put human or yourself in the center of the XY coordinates and then use X coordinates as a space where what happens or where happens some of those things, and then Y coordinates is when the events happen. So you want to put yourself in the center and then see some of the events that happen in XY, this XY coordinate I just mentioned, and see if how this event impacts you. Is what I think it is what it is. And 1-2 is standards of how you live. And then this part he simply says, so a lot of students ask him how should I live, and then what he typically says to that student is, if something happens, you want to categorize, and then some of the category that you can make with is something, whether even it's big or small, if it's light or heavy, which means just something, not the weight of it, the weight of the problem, and then something you must, and then set the priority of the problem. So if you set this categorize, and then you can categorize the events, then as you leave, there's some of the decisions that you make will be probably better than what you think. That's poor word choice. So if you can categorize this event into the categories that I just mentioned, which are big and small, light and heavy. Light and heavy is a poor word choice, but I hope you understand what I'm saying is something. Yeah, weight of the problem, and then something that you must do first, or you can put it away for a second and then do it later. So if you can categorize your event in these categories, then some of the decisions that you make hopefully will be better, or you will regret less when you make decisions. This is what he's trying to say, or that's how I understood it. And then 1-3 is live however you like. What it means by that is just like, just do whatever you want, and then maybe problem will be solved. No, that's not what he meant. What it says is, as you leave, you want to make some of the standards or some of the thinking that if you want to do something this way, some event or problem solving in particular way, then you want to keep it like that. So one of the focus that I wanted to say was that result is also important. What happens is important, but some of the decision you make everyday life is also important, and that builds up and then becomes a result. So if you do something in the so if you have to make a decisions, you would like to do what you want or make a decision based on your personal thought or so you want to make your decisions on your own and then based on your knowledge, not because somebody says so. Other people can influence you on how you're thinking, but that shouldn't be solely how you make a decision. That shouldn't be the this one I think I'm gonna say. So 1-4. So the title says relativity between positive and negativity. So in this chapter, he wants to that there's something. Some of the categories can be some of the problems or some of the things can be divided by exactly what you want. 0 and 1, like a binary number. Something could be just 0 and 1. And then but the thing is, some people may want to, like the society or the other people wants to see problem. There can be only two answers, either yes or no. But most of the times that is not the case. For example, some of the action. Let's say there's person A take some of the actions, and then there's person B and C. Person B thinks that what person A did was horribly wrong and then that's bad, but from the point of view of person C, maybe not so. Maybe that was good action, or I don't know, but but from the what I'm trying to say is from the different point of view, something good could be perceived as something good. So based on the point of view or the society that you're living or culture that you're from, something that is perceived as weird or awkward could be common. So what I'm trying to say here is, I think some of the problems that you might think there's only two answers may not be, and then you want to see things from different point of view and then try to understand it. And then I'll move next. 1-5. I exactly don't know how to translate into Korean actually, so I'm just gonna read in Korean. 정반합과 변화의 변증법적 구조. So in this section, what is trying to say is that when there's two different point of view, these two point of view could be combined into one and make a better argument. Because these two arguments or point of view could be something similar or perhaps even opposite, but if they could be combined to make the weakness of the two arguments, if excuse me, is by combining these two point of view can make the strengthen the weak point of the argument, then it's really good. But as it always happens, even if you combine these two arguments, there will always be weak point or something that contradicts it, or something that is opposite of this opinion. So what you have to do is what he is trying to say here is try to combine two different point of views or similar views, opposite views that is on certain object, and then you want to take only strong points of these 2 points that will make the weak points go away or strengthen it at least. And there will always be opposite opinion on this, always. So what you must do, or what you always try to do, is try to get rid of your weak point or attacking point, but always strengthen it, and then not only strengthen your weak points, but your other points as well. So you always want to take other point of view in consider, and then see how they attack your weak points, and then try to strengthen it or get rid of it. That's what it's trying to say. And then you always have to take other opinions into. You always have to listen to other opinions to see if there is something that you could use or utilize to strengthen your point of view or your argument. So 1-6 is a functionality of a causal relation. I think that's what it is. So causal relation means something happens, then there's always cause to it. I think that's what it means. So people says that causal relativity, if it fits it causal relatively, then it sounds logical or sounds correct. And then if these two relativity are close, then they're suitable. This is what it's saying, I think, is, or reliable. So this causal relativity is necessary in some of the theories or thoughts must exist in order to exist. So here, if you cannot prove your if you cannot prove this causal relativity, or if there's no causal relativity whatsoever, people call this surreal or unrealistic, or some of the steps you skip it. So when you don't see this relationship between two, then you call this 직관, which is just straightly looking at the problem. Oh wow, I'm just so I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain this better than, I don't think I'm understanding. So some of the things that that actually kind of not shocked, but that remains in my thought was that he said reading a book is you're reading somebody else or author's experience or their way of thoughts in second hands. So if you're reading some of the spark notes, well, yeah, I don't think Koreans use spark notes, but some of the I'm sorry. So here, what I'm trying to say is, it's not recommended to read some things that people. It is not recommended to read some of the. It's not recommended to read the summarized book or some summarization of something on the paper, because you're reading something in second hand, so it'll be hard to relate to this problem or this paper or whatever that is, because because you're experiencing or reading or you're experiencing or reading this something in second hands. Does that make sense? So yeah. I'm sorry. 1-7, I'll move on next, and then in this section, what it's trying to say is, if you set a standards or some way of thoughts, you want to be consistent. Just because of some situation, just because some of the scales or economy gets bigger, this standard shouldn't be changed. Or what this typically happens, I believe, is actually when it happens, when scales become smaller, I believe is when the problem kicks in. So, for example, is that in society or community, you expect people to take certain action in certain events, but when it comes to individuals, I think some of the individual things that since it is me, the standards doesn't matter, and then I will do whatever I want. I think that's when this problem kicks in, and then what he wants to think is that you want to be consistent on some of the problems. If you make an exception just because it is you or it's because of someone, this way of thinking or this just society falls apart if you keep making exceptions to certain things. So you want to be consistent. Okay, 2-1. This is one of the most important parts of way of thinking, and then and this is one of the common way of thinking is Yukonchik in Korea, but what typically in state or United States says is 5W and 1H, I think is what it's called. So who, what, where, when, why, and how. So that's because there are 5 W's words and 1 H words, so that's why they call 5W and 1H. So as I mentioned, this part of Yukonchik he explains far better than I do, so I strongly recommend watching his video if you want to get better understanding of how you should this Yukonchik to when you think of a certain object or event, or when you want to talk to somebody else about it. So you want to utilize 5W, 1H to talk to someone, or when you think something, because it remains in your brain a lot longer, because because you remember who or what happened, where it happened, and when it happened, and why it happened, and how it happened. instead of just, oh, this something happened. It remains in the brain farther longer, and you have better understanding of the problems. So yeah, pretty much in 2-1. And 2-2 is newspaper with 5W and 1H. And then I did not know about this. Apparently 5W and 1H originated from poem. And then when people says about 5W and 1H, people typically think about newspaper or reporters, because when people read newspaper or listen to reporters, they typically think they are to the point in there, they sound smart, is because they use 5W and 1H. And then these people, in newspaper and reporters or any form of wow, I forgot the terminology, but people working in this area always use 5W and 1H to write paper or write something, and when they talk to other people, because they use 5W and 1H, they sound smarter, or it gives better understanding to people they're talking to, or talking to people, or people reading their papers or articles. That is it on 2-2. And 2-3 is how you could change it 5W and 1H to extend your creativity, or so change your thoughts. Pretty much what it says is one of the most famous case will be a book called Surviving in Desert, or in Korean is 사막에 살아남기, is one of the big hit in Korea that keep the 5W and 1H same except where, and then they only change it where and keep the same format throughout the series, but each one of them became big hit. Surviving the Desert, I believe there's one in Tundra or something like that, or in Jungle, Amazon, I think it was. One of this series of the book pretty much keeps in the same format but changed the location of it, and then every single one of them became hit. And then just changing one of the 5Ws and 1H gives you a lot of big rooms where you can change things and change your thoughts. So last one, 2-4. This is one of the things that I kind of had a hard time understanding, and then in this section, what he's trying to say, I believe it is there are a lot of different categories in 5W and 1H, and then if you just even look at the when and where, for example, in time, when, you could have some of the standard as a century, or the generation, or year, month, day, and times. There are a lot of different standards that you can set. Then if you keep changing this standards, or kind of restriction, of what I'm saying is that you can make a lot of different changes in your thoughts, or how you perceive things. And then as you see, micro and macroeconomics is how it differs, and then how it differs. Personal interest and then countries' interests could always get in conflict. So Hmm. So, yeah, I'm sorry. When you think something, upper level thoughts, or the, yeah, big general idea, if you make it big in general, you could apply it somewhere, but as I said, is big in general is not specific. So you could utilize everywhere, but sometimes when you want specific things, it's hard to utilize. In opposite, if you want specific small idea or small thoughts, it is specific. So it could be it could fit one specific situation, and then it fits perfectly, but it's restricted where you can use that idea. So most common mistake people make is getting conflict with the general big idea with the specific idea. That some people think that since it fits in this small little idea fits here perfectly, it could fit everywhere else. Yeah, that's where a problem kicks in, is what I'm trying to understand. Yeah, that's it, guys. I apologize again for gibberish. Yeah, and then poor explanation of some of the things. As I think I'm still trying to understand some of the writings that he wrote, and then yeah, I'm just sorry that just the poor explanation was bad. And then as I said it before, if you like a far better understanding on this writing, I strongly recommend what my teacher previously recorded or make a video on this. And then yeah, it is his writing. He understands far better than I do. And then yeah, if you want the original copy of this paper, then leave a comment on the video, and then I'm pretty sure that my teacher will contact you back and give you the information about how to get this paper. Or if you have any question regarding this, yeah, just leave a comment, and then I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and then I hope you have a good day today. Thank you.